that little passing operation and has in fact taken a small lead over Mamola.
It's a lead that you can hardly time as they go into Woodcote, with Mamola in second place, Haslam third, de Redigue in fourth position. It's just about 4/10 of a second as they went into Woodcote, but I've no doubt that Mamola will close it. Eddie Lawson on his 16th lap then, 8 laps to go now. They're coming up to lap yet more who are midfield men now. Alan Irwin is one of them, who seems to have rejoined the race, having ridden out of it earlier on. And in absolutely superb conditions, there's a big crowd, not the biggest I've ever seen at Silverstone for this event, but a big one nevertheless. And they're seeing magnificent racing, as now Mamola, having, I suspect, John, having had a bit of a rest in his terms, has now decided to charge again and is right up with Lawson ahead of Haslam third and de Redigue fourth, and less than 2 seconds between the first and fourth.
But he's going to try and keep the pressure on Lawson, because of course it is Honda's only hope that Lawson will make a mistake. And so I think that there's no point in Mamola just disappearing, despite the fact that I don't think that he could in fact do so. But he just has to harass Lawson at this point.
If Lawson wins this race, he'll get 15 World Championship points to add to the 107 that he already has, to give him 122. And Mamola would get 12, which would give him 93. And with only 2 races to go, a possible 30 points for the top 2 places, it would mean that Eddie Lawson was virtually home and dry as world champion for the first time in his career.
I think Mamola is trying very hard. You notice how he's using all the road on the way out. He's over the sort of concrete paving on the outside, whereas Lawson is still staying just inside the white line.
Yeah, it's terribly, terribly difficult, if not impossible, to communicate just what super men these are. These 2-wheel projectiles, which develop well over 120 miles an hour, are here right over on the corners. One wrong pressure on the twist grip and you can lose it altogether. And now Wayne Gardner, 6th, and Ferrari 7th, are up with Barry Sheene battling for 5th position. So the battle for the lead continues, and there's a great scrap developing for 5th place. There are the first 2. There are Haslam and de Redigue. Now we should see 3 riders very closely together. These are 2 tail enders. And there they are. Amongst that lot is number 7, Barry Sheene, number 18, Wayne Gardner, number 33, Virginio Ferrari. There they are. There's 33, Virginio Ferrari, the second of the 2 Yamaha Works riders, with Wayne Gardner, number 18, and they've both passed Barry Sheene. So that means to say that Wayne Gardner is now 5th, Ferrari is now 6th, and Sheene is now down at number 7 with his number 7 on his machine. And that with them riding round there and about to be lapped is Mila Pajic, the Dutch rider on the Suzuki.
And Ferrari's right in there as well, because he's a score mode.
"24-lap race. This is lap 18. Here are the leaders, and it does seem to me that if you take the race as a whole, corner by corner, lap by lap, that Eddie Lawson is not in the ascendancy. He is now very firmly established in a lead, which is going to be very, very difficult, even for Randy Mamola, to displace him from. And if Lawson wins, it will be to add to his victories from South Africa, Spain and Austria. This very quiet man who tends to be overlooked in consideration about who are the best riders, even though he's leading the World Championship, because he has a very quiet and retiring nature, an extremely nice, eloquent, deep-thinking man. And he comes out of Woodcote now to complete lap 18, and the gap between Lawson, the leader, and Mamola in second place is, well, just under half a second, and it's less than that now. It's a matter of machines' lengths. So Mamola's not giving up. Short, stocky, very strong. Randy, freckle-faced, ginger-head Mamola is hanging on, and Roger Marshall is in 11th place, the British champion, 4 times British champion, on his Honda, battling it out with Bert van Doelman, the Dutch rider. And the race order on this, the 19th lap, is, you are looking at the leader, Eddie Lawson, chased by Randy Mamola. Third is Didier de Rodriguez as Mamola challenges for the lead and takes it.
He was just
Fourth
able to pull
is
out.
Haslam, 5th is Gardner, 6th is Ferrari, 7th is Sheen.
Yes, that time he was just able to pull out of the slipstream and get through. No one. Oh, something's come off him.
That's, I fear, is one of the many hares that run about at Silverstone. They've been flushed out of the fields by I don't know what, but there have been several of them running about in the practice period, and I fear that that was one failing to make it across the course.
I just hope he hasn't done any damage to the lower petrol tank, because the petrol tank on the 4-cylinder Honda there is actually slung underneath the engine.
Yes. Did you reckon it was Mamola who hit it, John?
Well, I just think it bounced between the pair of them.
Yes. Well, that's a very good point, incidentally, because with Lawson back in the lead, as we look at Mamola's machine, it's all upside down, as it were, because what seems like a petrol tank underneath the rider's chest is, in fact, a cover for the exhaust pipes, which go over the top of the engine, and the petrol, in order to keep the weight as much as possible down and the centre of gravity as low as possible, is actually underneath the engine. You're looking at the petrol tank now, that white bit.
Just below the Honda.
Bottom of the fairing, yes. And that fairing over the exhaust pipes gets very hot. If you look just over the rider's hands of the 4-cylinder Honda, the fairing, you will see there is an NACA duct as Mamola retakes the lead from Lawson. That duct leads into a black pipe, which leads into an airspace between the top of the exhaust pipes and the fairing in order to keep the temperature down as much as possible. And Mamola surges between 2 riders, one of whom was Simon Buckmaster, and you are now seeing an absolutely magnificent scrap. Number 4, Eddie Lawson, world champion designate, and Randy Mamola, the only man who can prevent him at this meeting from getting that championship.
And I think that, in fact, Lawson has decided a really race, because you notice he got wide on that corner, got into the loose stuff, got into a little trouble, but still went ahead and took the inside place and the lead again.
And Rob McElhenney, recovering from his French Grand Prix leg injury on the new monocoque Heron Suzuki, is in 8th position. Lawson leads, Mamola 2nd, de Rodriguez 3rd, Haslam 4th, Gardner 5th, Ferrari 6th, Sheen 7th, and the Heron Suzuki of Rob McElhenney is in 8th place. Randy Mamola has put up the fastest lap, 1:29.72, 1.5 seconds outside Kenny Roberts' lap record, and Mamola's speed 117.4 miles an hour. There he is.
And in fact, that machine and the Heron both have another new development in this race. They have the carbon fibre rear brake discs.
Breathtaking stuff. Lap 21. The big crowd here is sitting, watching an epic struggle for a win.
I was talking to Mamola before the race, and he said the big advantage of the radial tyre was that it performed the same on the last lap as the first lap. We'll just have to see if that's the case, because you do get a deterioration in normal cross-ply, which is like on the Yamaha here.
And it's right, it's cross-ply tyres as far as we know, and I say that cautiously, that Lawson has, because we know that the Dunlop concern has been experimenting with different types of tyre construction and compound, and it's a bit of a secret what Lawson's actually got on, although I suspect it's cross-ply. And look at the way that the tyres there of Mamola's 4-cylinder Honda, with it wiggling a bit on the exit to Copse, although Mamola, as I said earlier on, likens the handling of the 4-cylinder Honda to a Cadillac, and he's very, very happy with it indeed. Preferred the 4 to the 3-cylinder Honda, not only because of its superior power, but because of its handling. The only problem being that the power characteristics are not always what the rider would ideally like, but knowing Honda, I'm sure they'd iron that out in development.
Well, that needs to be developed in racing, and that's why it's out there now. It doesn't have necessarily that much more power, but they've just got to change the power curve slightly to suit all circuits. But Silverstone is a power circuit where they can get away with purely top end.
Trevor Nation, number 65 on the Suzuki, a reserve, I'm glad to say, has got in after some fine British rides this year, is being lapped by Randy Mamola and shortly by Eddie Lawson. Is Mamola going to be able to take advantage of that and pull out a bit of a lead over Lawson, who is yet to pass Nation and now does so? Coming through to complete now the 22nd lap in this 28-lap race. And the gap between Mamola and Lawson is as it was before, just over half a second, a few machines lengths into Copse Corner. Still in third position, it is De Radigue. Right behind him is Ron Haslam, as close to De Radigue in third position as Lawson is to Mamola in the lead. In fifth position, it is Ferrari on the second Yamaha. So both Yamahas are in the first 5 places. Sixth, a brilliant ride, Wayne Gardner, in spite of tyre troubles in practice, which upset the handling characteristics of his Honda. Seventh is Barry Sheen. Eighth is Rob McElvey.
We have to remember, though, that actually Lewis had to qualify on the tyres taken off of Wayne Gardner's bike.
Yes, well, Wayne seems to have come through in the end, and now Lewis is fighting back. He was in 9th position, and further down the field, Paul Lewis on the Quantel Suzuki is side by side with Rob McElvey. So we've got battles all down the field, but this is the one that is going to decide the winner. 2 Americans. And in a week when the Americans are dominating the Olympics, it is more than interesting to record that the top road racers are Americans, because the top 3 in the World Championship are all American. Eddie Lawson, who is in second place in this race, Freddie Spencer, who is second in the World Championship, not here today, and the race leader here, number 3, Randy Mamola, all American, and showing the way to the European and other world riders. We are now on lap 24, and Ron Haslam is in third position. Ron Haslam has taken De Radigue. You'll see shortly the white helmet and the black leathers of Ron Haslam. There they go. That's Haslam on the 3-cylinder Honda in front of De Radigue, and he needs to stay there because Honda have got a wealth of talent to choose from for their factory team in 1985, and Raymond Roche won't have done himself very much good from that point of view by crashing out of the British Grand Prix. Mamola leads, coming up to Club Corner behind Lorenzo Ghiselli, the Italian on the Suzuki. Lawson second, lap 24. Club Corner is a 90-mile-an-hour bend. Build up to 4th gear, to 5th gear, to Abbey, which they're at now. Then to 6th, 160 miles an hour, under the bridge into Woodcote to complete lap 24, which means to say that there are then 4 laps to go, including the one they've just started.
And in fact, it's obvious now that Mamola has made the right choice of machine, because they've dropped the 3-cylinder machines considerably way behind. And he's able to hold the Yamaha on maximum speed.
And a big gap between Eddie Lawson in second place, the new third-place man, Ron Haslam, the new fourth-place man, having been displaced by Haslam, Didier De Radigue. And there is the battle for third position between Englishman Haslam from Langley Mill, Belgian Didier De Radigue from Brussels in Belgium, and it's as close a battle for third as it is for first. Sheen is in 6th position now, having got past Wayne Gardner, the race order being Mamola, Lawson, Haslam is 3rd, De Radigue is 4th, 5th is Ferrari, 6th is Sheen, 7th is Gardner, and 8th and 9th a battle between Rob McElvey and Paul Lewis, both on Suzuki's. Mamola, who was one of the quietest and most withdrawn men in Grand Prix racing when he first started, Not surprising, because he was very young and inexperienced. Since then, as his confidence in world travel and Europe and race leadership has built up, he has become an extremely interesting and communicative man to talk to.
Yes, well, of course, he wasn't going to start this year's Grand Prix race, and he missed the first 2 events. But here I think he's actually building up just a little cushion to give him a very secure position. He's certainly keeping the pressure on, and I'm not certain that Lawson isn't in some doubts as to quite whether to go the 101% necessary to pass him.
Now, behind, although we're staying with this terrific scrap for the lead as they pass David Griffith on the Suzuki number 15. Behind the 7th place man, Wayne Gardner, who's got Barry Sheen 6th ahead of him. There's now a 4-man scrap for 8th place between Paul Lewis, and that is Paul Lewis's bike. Paul Lewis has overdone it and dropped it. So that means that McKelney, Roger Marshall and Katayama are battling for 8th position. That, I regret to say, does not look good, because the straw bales are being put round Paul Lewis. And round now on the 26th lap, with 2 to go at the end of it, Mamola, and he nearly had the back step away from him then. But such are the young American's reflexes, and he's really riding at about 11/10, John, if that were possible.
That's for sure. But, of course, his dirt track experience really stands him in good stead there. He's able to sort of take those slides, and this is where the Americans score.
Completing now lap 26. Mamola, and he's building up definitely a lead now, because it's 1.5 seconds lead over Eddie Lawson.
That little wiggle in the machine shows that he's right on the ragged edge. And, of course, you remember, he doesn't really know this machine. It's his first race with it. So Lawson may be deciding to play it safe for second.
Just look at the way Mamola is going. He has taken Franco Uncini, or the ex-world champion, the Italian who was hit by Wayne Gardner in last year's Dutch Grand Prix, Dutch TT. And Mamola now is on his last lap but one. He won here in 1980, and it looks as though he's going to win again.
And he got by at a vital point there, because now he's got a cushion of those people who were lapping. He's been able to pull out a few more yards.
Yes, my goodness, he's fighting that machine. And Lawson now is about to take Mick Grant, the oldest rider, 40-year-old Mick Grant, the oldest rider, double Grand Prix winner and multiple TT winner, and Lawson still hasn't got past the British veteran. There is Mick Grant, number 57. Lawson leans the Yamaha over on absolutely full whack and gets past Mick there, but I've little doubt that that's given Randy Mamola the opportunity marginally to increase his lead as he comes into Woodcote now to start his last lap. And the gap between Mamola and Lawson is 2 seconds now. Last lap, let's go round with the potential victor and second place man. There is the man who's going to be second, unless something happens to the leader, Randy Mamola, in the last 2.5 miles of the race, because with Lawson coming up to Maggots, then down into Beckett's, here is the race leader, 24-year-old Californian Randy Mamola, who won here in 1980, who's finished second in Spain, won in Holland, third in both Austria, Germany and France, second in Belgium, third in the World Championship, to add 15 points to the 81 that he already has. Into Stowe. There is no way, unless Mamola is blocked by these riders in front of him, that Lawson will catch him. And now, De Rodriguez is missing. Ferrari is up to 4th. Sheen is up into 5th. Wayne Gardner is back into 6th position. And Mamola's going through. Where is Lawson? There he is. And number 53, Paolo Ferretti, has been lapped for the 2nd time. And Randy Mamola, as he passes the tail enders, is under the bridge, is up to Woodcote, is into the last corner, and I'm glad to say that Paul Lewis is perfectly okay. And Randy Mamola gives a sign of victory as he wins the 1984 British Grand Prix from Eddie Lawson on the Yamaha in 2nd position. And yeah, Randy has won a magnificent victory. The World Championship has yet to be decided.
A superb ride.
Well, Eddie Lawson, I'm sure, will still pick up that World Championship, don't you think? Well, it's time to pick up some Olympic action now, and a rowing event.